Ry Cooder is from LA. He is a multi-instrumentalist, singer and songwriter and is best known for his slide guitar work. The first album he was involved in, apparently, was Captain Beefheart's Safe as Milk, which was in 1967, and he's been very busy since then. He's released his own albums, he's done sessions for other people, he's done lots of collaborations, and he's done some film scores. So he has released 17 solo studio albums. He's been involved in 17 soundtrack albums, most of which he wrote all the music for. He's done loads of collaborations, as I say, and many sessions. I'm going to name just 5 people that he's worked on sessions for: Randy Newman, Eric Clapton, James Taylor, Marianne Faithfull, and Gordon Lightfoot. But the list is impressive. He has recorded and played in many musical styles, stretching through blues and folk to Latino and world music. Hi, my name's Dan. So this was Ry Cooder's 8th studio album. I must have heard it before, I think. In fact, I'm fairly sure that I used to have a vinyl copy. It might still be up in the loft. I don't think I played it very often, though. So apparently this was the first commercially released album to be recorded digitally. And I would generally describe this as being Americana rock, maybe with elements of Mexican in there as well. I love the term Americana. It covers so many different sins, really. It's just that anybody who's got any kind of hint of blues, jazz, folk, bluegrass, Cajun, New Orleans jazz, all sorts of things, kind of. And there are quite a few people who kind of just blended bits of that in their own particular way. And this is what Ry Cooder does on this album, and I know has done on other albums. I'm a reasonable fan of Ry Cooder. So I'm going to throw in particularly blues, Cajun, Mexican, and folk here as possible influences, less than folk, maybe. He mostly uses a clean guitar tone throughout. He's not kind of covered in slide guitar. Now, some people might think that Ry Cooder is a slide guitar specialist, and that's the thing that he does, because some of his more high-profile film work has been focused on slide guitar. But I'm not sure there's any on this album. But he uses quite a nice kind of clean guitar tone on here. All but one of those songs here are covers. So Little Sister apparently is an Elvis cover, or a cover of well, not written by Elvis, but originally done by Elvis. My favourite track is probably the original track, which is written by Ry Cooder and somebody else whose name I've just forgotten, which is Down in Hollywood, and I know it fairly well as a track actually. Of course, I have listened quite a lot to a Ry Cooder kind of more of a greatest hits album that has it on. There's quite a bit of use on this album of multiple voices and conversational stuff going on between those voices. One of those voices is Chaka Khan, who's a great singer. The bands are strong. There's a nice vibe to it. Now, apparently, Ry Cooder said that he thought the album had a thin sound to it. And I kind of see what he means. And I think that this comes from the cleanness of the digital recording. So, as technology changes, it often takes a little while for people to get used to how best to, I'm going to use a buzzword, leverage the best out of the technology. So we definitely got better at mastering in digital. And given that this was the first, then it's understandable that maybe they didn't know that was how it was going to come out. But it's not a major detriment to the album, I would say. It's maybe a minor, tiny thing, I would say. As always with Ry Cooder, there's a kind of sincerity and authenticity to it. So even though he's doing story songs, so all, basically songs that where he's singing about being somebody who is not himself, or about other people or whatever. He's got this kind of integrity to all that he does, which is something that I enjoy. I'm not sure I can put my finger on why I say that, but there's just something about him and the way he approaches music that always makes me feel that he's really sincere about it, certainly musically. Um, just uh, touch on another couple of songs. Go Home Girl is a nice, touching song. It's rare to have a song where the protagonist chooses friendship over passion. It's about a guy who's in love with his best friend's girl and is telling the girl to go home because the friendship's more important. Look at Granny Run Run is quite a funny track. I enjoyed that as well. Uh, Trouble You Can't Fool Me. I like that quite a lot. That's a song about old man trouble. It's a strong album. It's not his best. There are albums of his that I like better than this, but this is pretty good, and there's some nice high spots on this. So I enjoyed this a reasonable amount. Yeah. As always, I'd like to know what you think of this album, so please do leave me a comment. And that's it from me for now.
Well, did you hear the good news? There's gonna be some bad blues. Somebody said they'd play all night long. So go